we will be integrating PayPal on Django. We will use captures and webhooks and keep it simple, focus on the PayPal logic and make it work.
Django and Python, JavaScript, tutorials for Jamie, this is so loud.
What the fuck, HTML?
There's only C.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Django video. Today, let's integrate PayPal and PayPal webhooks into a Django project. I will be downloading this GitHub repository so we avoid creating a Django project from scratch, but it's actually a super simple one. So we go to desktop, activate my virtual environment, and then yes, clone it. We can run it. It looks like this. It has an app named Polls. Okay, let's get back to the post. And you need to understand that I will be explaining the PayPal logic. So this is not about e-commerce and creating products. I'm intentionally focusing on the PayPal flow, let's say. Okay, first thing, we need to get some PayPal credentials like API, the client ID, the secrets, common stuff. Let's visit developer.paypal. If you don't have an account, you're gonna have to create it. I believe that you will need to create a business account. Developers dashboard. Okay, you're supposed to land in this page, dashboard. We need to go to API and credentials, and in here we will have a default application. Most likely, PayPal changes this, excuse me, quite frequently. If you don't have an app by default, it's just a matter of creating a new one. For now, let's visit the default application. They will have the client ID, the secret key, and if you scroll down, there is a section for webhooks. So we are in sandbox, by the way. It's everything for testing. Whenever we want to take this to a real store, then we go live and generate real credentials. Focusing on the webhooks, we need to add a webhook URL. Now, if you notice, I'm using Ngrok because we will need to test this with PayPal requests, which means that this local project is going to have to be public somehow. And for this reason, we use Ngrok. Now, coming to Ngrok, we can download it from here. It's a matter of choosing your system, download it. You're gonna have to use this to add your out token. Your out token will be around. It's easy to find. I've installed this recently. I have a video about uh, using Ngrok with Django in a more detailed approach. But for now, it, I'm gonna keep it simple and focus on PayPal. Okay, once you have Ngrok installed, you can open their prompt and run this Ngrok HTTP, but with port 8000. So it matches our local project. It's going to generate a link. We need to add this one to our allowed hosts. So let's open that with the text editor, my site, settings, and in allowed hosts, let's remove actually the HTTPS, start with the numbers, add localhost by the end. You can also add the loop address. And when we go to the browser now and access through the Ngrok link, we have this local project exposed to the internet. So that's the idea. PayPal can now talk to us, so to speak, and we will use that to communicate and receive, to send and receive requests from PayPal. Okay, continuing. That's about it from Ngrok. Scrolling down a little bit more in views.py, let's already copy this, and I'm actually needing to come back to the previous section, but for now, in here, let's add that PayPal URL, client ID, secret, and webhook ID. So in PayPal developers, we need to really go back because I forgot to add the URL from Ngrok to the webhook. Okay, you can get it again from the Ngrok prompt. Copy that, go to developers. I'm going to simply replace my existing one, and after that, it's a matter of adding slash webhook slash. So this is a path that we will configure in the future on urls.py, and it will have a class-based view associated to this URL. So it's that simple. Scroll down a little bit, look for payments and payouts. You can open them like this and select at least payment capture completed and payment capture denied. There are many events, as you can tell. We're gonna keep the most simple payment flow. So the classic PayPal button for a single payment. Please enter a valid URL. Okay, I have a white space in the beginning of that URL. Should work now. Let's go save. It's going to generate a webhook ID. Let's copy that and bring to views. Replace by the asterisk. And now client ID and secrets. Back to developers. On the top of the page, you have a button to copy that and replace. Same thing for secret. Simply paste it everything in there. Now things to keep in mind whenever you take this to production, you never should expose secrets on source code. You preferably use your server uh, features for storing passwords, or you can also use .env, which is super simple and it helps you keeping the project organized. I also have a video if you are curious about how to store passwords and secrets in Django. But let's focus on this one. Carry on. We don't need developers anymore for now, and Ngrok also not. We can close those windows. Okay, configurations. We need these two on settings. I'm simply going to explain you briefly. One of them is to allow the pop-up from PayPal to open correctly, secure cross-origin opener policy, and the other is to make Ngrok a trusted origin. Should work. I'm going to save it and let's continue to the token. All the communications that we will do with PayPal will use a token. And here's an important thing to keep in mind. I'm not going to store this token in the database or in the project. Ideally, when you create a real project, you will want to have this stored in cache, and instead of be or instead of asking every time for a new token. Okay, these tokens last for around 8 hours. From the last time I checked, was something like that. I will be requesting a new token for every request I do to PayPal to keep it simple and to avoid mixing other topics of Django. But if you have multiple payments going on in a store, you want to store this token in cash. Okay, let's go to views and paste. Okay, I forgot to copy that. Let's paste the get PayPal access token. Let's go through this quickly. It's basically creating a request. We add the client ID and the secret, and PayPal will return us an access token, which we will be returning with this function. It's that simple. We will use this token to communicate when we create an order, when it when we capture an order, when we receive webhooks. We always will need a token to communicate to PayPal. So we create a request to PayPal using client ID and secret key. We send it in PayPal. It's going to return to us a access token. Now this access token in the future we can keep in cash. Okay, creating the order. Right now we continue on the back end of Django. Let's already create the URL pattern. So in URLs, paste that, and I'm simply going to copy and paste this block of code. I'm not gonna write this thing along with you because we will be here forever. And if you are doing this, I believe that you already know these types of coding, which is like simple Django in the end of the day. But I hard coded a value, so 10. Here it is, the access token, just like I told you before. We will need it. A return URL. This URL, it's the URL that PayPal will use when you finish an order. So this doesn't confirm any payment or anything. It's just a redirect link. You can think about it like that. Then you have a cancel URL because whenever you go to a PayPal pop-up, usually they will have a cancel link in those pop-ups. So you can define it. We can create a cancel view in the next parts. You add the access token to the headers, and you pass in the data to create the order. So the intent is to capture. You have the purchase units. You can pick any currency. Define the value. So in this case, it's going to be 10 euros. The custom ID is quite useful. So you can reference this order later. And you have the return URL and the cancel URL that we have defined excuse me, earlier. Then it's a matter of sending this to PayPal. They will reply to us, and we reply to our front end that we haven't created yet. Okay, that's going to be like soon. And keep in mind, you should be handling errors. For now, this is enough. The more professional you want to be, the more professional your handling of errors will be. But for this tutorial, perfect. Let's continue. We have the code to create the order ready. Next step, and here's an important thing to keep in mind, because this is kind of redundant in the end of the day, you are capturing, and this is the recommendation of PayPal, you are capturing the order already in your server. So you, on top of this, you will be receiving a webhook. So if for some reason the capturing fails in your computer, say you lost your connection, you lost power, whatever it is, then PayPal will still try to contact you through a webhook. So it gives you more security, makes your system more reliable, and we want that. So let's continue with that. Add a new URL. Save that. Again, gonna copy paste this block of code. Gonna go through it like without a lot of detail really. Capture PayPal order. Again with post, everything inside a try. We collect the body and the order ID. If something is wrong with the order ID, we return a JSON response with 400. Again, the access token. Headers, same logic as before. This time we are contacting a new link for capturing the order. Pass in the order ID. Use raise or status to check if something went wrong. Details, and I've put in here some prints to go to some data that is normally useful. In here, what we can assume is that the payment is captured and the payment is confirmed. Okay, that's about it. If so, we return a 200, and we can also send the details. And again, exception handling if you are taking this to production. Save that. Let's go back to the post and continue to the next one. Cancel view. This one is super simple, and it's really just to make sure it's working. Cancel view. We even are going to use the same template index.html. You can put it here. Good. And time to go to the front end. But before, let's add this client ID to our index class-based view. So I'm actually going to copy the full code. We have it already created, but let's just paste that. And through get context data, we are sending to the front end a client ID because we will need this client ID to generate the button. So if you notice, it's right here on the top, client ID. Let's copy the front end code, open templates polls index.html. Gonna add a line break to separate this from the rest of the code. HR and paste everything. Let's already test this just to make sure it's loading. Here it is. But before we try that, let's have a quick look. So this code is responsible for rendering the PayPal button. And when you use this, we pass in these three functions: create order, on approve, and on cancel. And these are the functions communicating to our backend. If you notice, create order is interacting with our create PayPal order. Then on approve will interact with capture PayPal order through capture dash order. And it's that simple actually. Then you have on cancel. Now, time to try this actually. Let's see how it's going. PayPal. Okay, I'm going to use and make sure you are using Sandbox. So I didn't really go through that, but in views, I didn't mention, but you have the link for production and the link for Sandbox. Again, Sandbox is only for testing. You have nothing to worry. I have created earlier a testing account. I think you have one. Let me show you that. Actually, in developers, let's go home. Where is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually log out because it took the login of this sandbox account. Alright, so in sandbox account, you can check it here. I'm using one of these accounts. You can create others and use it to test it basically. So let's get back to the pop-up. Where is it? Just try. Finish. It's in Portuguese, but it means to finish the payment. And there you go. Now, capture order was correct. I'm not registering anything. We just know that it tried to communicate with the webhook, but we haven't created this path or view yet. It's the next thing that we're gonna do. And any other things, the payer, it's correct. The custom ID to reference the order, capture ID to reference with PayPal, completed, amount, everything that you need, or at least part of it. Okay, the PayPal webhook. Let's get back to the blog. Scroll down a little bit. Again, add this path to urls.py, paste it, another block of code in views.py, and okay, what can we say about this one? Again, with post, and actually, PayPal will continue talking to you until they get a 200 response. Let's see if it's going to accept now. But let's say this is an important part because it's an easy thing to misunderstand. It's not difficult, but you need to be aware that when you receive the webhook from PayPal, this doesn't mean that the payment was confirmed. What means is that when you receive the webhook from PayPal, you have a valid response that you need to verify if it's real, okay? And that's different than having a payment confirmation. So, what you do is extract the body, again, get a new token, create the verification headers, so verify headers and verify data. And in this case, we are going to add all this information that came originally from the PayPal webhook. We also add our webhook ID and the event. Okay, we build a response and we contact PayPal. And now, yes, based on the response that we will get from PayPal now, we can trust it. Only this response we can trust, not the first one. And based on this response, if it was if the verification status is successful, is different from success, we will return HTTP of 400. So something could have happened. Maybe the token has expired. Multiple scenarios can happen in here. It's again a matter of handling the exceptions. Otherwise, we go to the successful case, and we can also confirm the payment through this webhook event. It's a matter of collecting the information again. Event type, resource, custom ID. These are some of the possible ones, and return an HTTP response of 200 so PayPal stops contacting you. Let's see what happened. Meanwhile, they replied again, and you have the 200 response. This is the beautiful part of webhooks. They will contact you multiple times until they make sure that the payment was received and you got it. Let's understand the flow a little more. We receive a webhook from PayPal, but we need to confirm if this really came from PayPal. So we get our access token, and from these two, we create a request to PayPal. So we insert the PayPal webhook information, the webhook ID, and our access token. You send it to PayPal, and now we can rely on this information. 200, it's going to mean that it's a valid response, and 400 or something, it means something went wrong and we need to handle that. So it could be the token expired, something went wrong. That's about it. Let me get back to the post for some final notes. It's a lot more to go through in detail, but I assume that if you are integrating PayPal, you already know Django, the custom ID, taking it live. So if you want to take it live, you're gonna have to go through the same process, but use the live credentials. Okay, guys, it would be a matter of going live and getting the credentials for a live app. That's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you need something, you can really talk to me, comment, send me an email, it's fine. And I hope it was useful. Thank you so much for everything, and I really hope you have a nice day. Like, subscribe, and bye!